clock strikes midnight, and I sit alone in my dimly lit living room, the flickering light from the old lamp barely illuminating the pages of the book in my hands. It's supposed to be a horror novel, but I find myself more amused than terrified. Suddenly, a chilling draft sweeps through the room, rustling the pages. I shiver and glance at the window, tightly shut, yet the air feels alive, as if something unseen is lurking just outside. I shake off the unease and return to my book, but the laughter of children echoes faintly from the street. I live on a quiet cul-de-sac, and the sound feels out of place, almost like a ghostly whisper. Curiosity piqued, I rise and peek through the curtains. Outside, the street is empty, bathed in the pale glow of the moonlight. I brush it off as my overactive imagination and return to my seat. Minutes later, the laughter crescendos, now mingling with a soft, rhythmic tapping against my front door. I freeze, my heart racing. It's too late for kids to be playing outside. I inch toward the door, my breath shallow, and I glance through the peephole. I see nothing but darkness. My instinct tells me to ignore it, but the tapping becomes insistent, almost pleading. "I know you're in there," a small voice calls out, sending a shiver down my spine. "Let me in." I back away slowly, my mind racing. Who is this child? Why are they out there alone? Rationality fights against curiosity, but before I can decide, the voice grows louder, more desperate. "Please, I'm scared." I waver for a moment, feeling an inexplicable pull to open the door. I reach for the doorknob, my hand trembling. As I turn it, the door creaks open slowly, revealing a single child standing in the moonlight, drenched in shadows. Their face is pale, and their dark eyes seem to absorb the light around them. "Please help me," they whisper, extending a small, trembling hand. I hesitate, the air around me thickening with dread. Something feels profoundly wrong, but the child's fear tugs at my heartstrings. They're coming for me. Before I can respond, I hear a low growl behind the child, a sound that sends icy tendrils of terror through my veins. I gasp, and the child turns slowly, their eyes widening in horror. I instinctively lurch back, the door swinging shut, just as a massive shadow looms over the child from the darkness beyond. "Don't leave me," the child cries, but I slam the door and lock it tight. My heart pounds in my chest, the echoes of the child's terror lingering in my mind. I back away, staring at the door, waiting for the inevitable knock, but it never comes. Instead, an eerie silence envelops the house. As the hours pass, I try to convince myself it was just a figment of my imagination, a trick played by fatigue. But that night, sleep eludes me, and I remain awake, listening for any sign of life outside. Just as dawn breaks, I finally gather the courage to peer through the window again. My breath catches in my throat as I see the child standing on my front porch, motionless, their gaze fixed on me. I scramble back, panic surging through my veins. They shouldn't be there. I don't understand how, but something feels terribly wrong. I reach for my phone to call for help when I hear a voice whispering, not from outside, but from deep within my mind. "You shouldn't have left me. Now they're coming for you." In that moment, I realize the truth, a deep, horrifying understanding. They were never alone. They were merely the bait, and now I am the prey. The tapping returns, but this time it's not just at my door. It echoes from every corner of my house. I scramble to my feet, heart racing, as the shadows coalesce around me, and I know I am not just hearing things. Something is coming. I bolt for the back door, but it swings open with a sinister creak, leaving me face to face with the